Thanks, John. So Salesforce Einstein is all about helping you be your best, to do things like discover insights, predict outcomes, recommend next actions, and even in some cases, automate tasks and business processes, all so you can be closer to your customer. Now, when I think of Einstein, I like to think of Einstein like my own personal data scientist. I don't have to understand how to wrangle the data. I don't have to understand even how to use it or why it's working. It just works to help me be my best. Now, we're going to look at a story today about a company that we all know and love. And this company is called Square. And just like we're in the business of democratizing AI for all of you, Square is in the business of democratizing financial services for thousands and thousands of small businesses with devices like this, their new contactless card reader, and numerous other products. But they have a real hard problem. Why? They have thousands of businesses that their reps have to interact with. And that's a huge prioritization problem for both sales and service. So we're going to take a look at how Square is using Einstein to help their sales reps be their best. Now, if you're anything like me, you start your day by grabbing your phone and checking your email, often sometimes before the feet even hit the ground. And here's an email from Salesforce Einstein with an alert. And it's telling me that I'm going to miss my quota. Now, I don't need coffee. This gets me up. I am awake. You have my attention, Salesforce. And I slip right into the Salesforce Wave app, for the Sales Wave app here, and I can take a look at what's going on. Look, I'm a good rep. I make club. I don't need to miss quota. But I'm trying to understand why it's forecasting that I'm going to miss. And so I can go in and I can start exploring. Well, if I'm targeting all industries, I'm going to miss by 25,000. But what if I explore and see if I just focus on a certain industry? And Einstein is going back and looking at all my historical data and putting together this analysis right on my phone. Again, remember, I haven't gotten out of bed yet. And here it's told me 5,000 is the best I can get it if I focus on restaurant industries. So it's with that frame of mind, I'm speeding into the office. Well, I take Muni, so speeding is, use your own interpretation. And I get into the office, and I pull up a list, and this is great. I got thousands of leads. Look at all these leads. These are great. I can prioritize them by title, company, lead source, maybe operating system. This is not helpful to me. Because even if I'm doing my best, even if I'm closing 20%, I have to talk to 100 leads just to close 20. What I need is some help. I need Salesforce Einstein. So let's take a look at what being a predictive seller is all about. Well, there's that forecast. We don't need to talk about that. We know that's right in my face. But then there's also these new insights up on the top right. And we can see these insights. We can see this new one, Julie Chavez came in. It came in just 10 minutes ago. And it scored it as a 92. Einstein is saying, hey, this is a lead you need to focus on, but why? Well, Einstein has looked at all the leads that have ever converted. It's looking at the standard fields, but also my custom fields. And it says, you know what? Restaurant and industry and title have a high probability to increase the score. And it also, things like custom data, like what page on the website they looked at. So this is great, and when I go back to my lead list, I can transform that whole lead list and prioritize it by this score. So now I'm giving my best energy, my very best energy, to the very best leads. But you know what? As great of a rep as I am, I can't do it without my trailblazers in sales operations. My trailblazers, all of you who help customize the Sales Cloud for me. And we can go right into Process Builder and extend this lead score, because it's just part of the platform. It's just a standard field in the platform. So I've had my trailblazers build a little simple process here. If it's low, send it to par.nurture. If it's high, you can send it right to me by way of chatter, or you can create an email or whatever alert you want, and we'll send all the rest to the bullpen and let the junior AEs take care of it. So we've looked at how to discover insights and predict outcomes. What about next actions? How do we recommend the next action to me? Well, let's step over to the opportunity page. And we're here on our opportunity Kanban board, and what's new are these little color-coded arrows, up, down, and the gray one's horizontal. And I've been working this company, this company, the Sock Depot. They make these really cool socks, if you've seen these Einstein socks. Sorry, here, for the camera, figure that out. But I have this red insight, and I'm like, what's going on here? So we can open up this opportunity, we can take a look, and we see that the prospect has raised an issue. Now, what's going on in this scenario here? Einstein is looking at all my email, it's looking at all my calendar data, and it's applying natural language processing to identify positive and negative sentiments. And these words, unusually slow and won't work. Sales have been unusually slow and won't work. We need to get Julian up and running on a mobile system, and we need to get his sales up, because at Square, we make money when our customers make money. So I'm thinking to myself, how do we help Julian? And well, in this case, I'm gonna send him an email, but that button, of course, is customizable by you. And so we're gonna send him an email. I'm thinking, let's get Julian to Dreamforce, because if we can get him to Dreamforce, he can sell a boatload of socks, and I can give him this mobile reader. So I send the email, and I'm all about automating things. I don't have time to log in Salesforce, and Einstein's got my back. Einstein has said, we put that right into Salesforce for you, Jim. And guess what? When he replies, that's gonna be automatically, oh, and there's the reply right there. That's automatically in. He's on his way. This is great.
Hey, Jim.
Where's
What's
Julian?
up, everybody? This is me. Whoop, I'm having difficulties with my bike. Hi.
Privileged to be here today and to introduce you all to the Fanatics story. So for those of you who don't know, Fanatics is the global leader in licensed sports merchandise. So chances are, if you've ever purchased a jersey or a baseball hat from your favorite team, it's probably been from a site that's powered by Fanatics. And I'm particularly excited to deliver this demo today for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a marketer, and you're about to see this is a really transformational marketing story. And two, I'm a big sports fan, and I've been a Fanatics customer since I was an undergrad at Stanford. And Fanatics supplied me with all of my Giants gear once I moved to the city, which I got to bust out last night. How about that game, right? Yeah. But whether it's college sports, the NFL, the NBA, Fanatics knows that the relationship that a sports fan has with his or her favorite team is a really, really personal one. And so that's why the marketers at Fanatics are hyper-focused on getting the right content to the right customer on the right channel at that exact right time. And they're using Salesforce and Marketing Cloud Einstein to do just this. Last year alone, Marketing Cloud powered over 4 billion emails and 27,000 campaigns for Fanatics, all with only 5 full-time CRM employees. Maybe 6 if you count Einstein. But let's take a look at how they're doing it and pull up the demo. So our story starts with the Fanatics marketer, Katie. And like any great marketer, Katie is extremely data-driven. But unlike most marketers who are looking in their rearview mirror at analytics in the past to determine what to do next, Katie's actually looking into the future with predictive analytics powered by Einstein. And what this allows Katie to do is to meet her customers exactly where they are on their journey with Fanatics. Better yet, Katie can be a step ahead of her customers. And Katie starts every campaign on her favorite dashboard. It's her predictive scores dashboard. And this gives Katie every metric that is important to an email marketer. She can see her opens, her unsubscribes, her clicks, and probably most importantly, her conversions. And right away, Katie's eye is going to that red right there. She's down since last week. She's only getting a fair rating, and Katie wants to be her best. So she's gonna click into view details and see what's going on with her conversion. From the second dashboard, Katie can see all of the attributes that are leading a customer to either convert or to not convert. Things like their frequency of opens, their email domains, whether or not they're bouncing. All of these are potential correlations just waiting to be uncovered. But the amazing thing is that as marketers, we no longer have to uncover these correlations ourselves. We're gonna let Einstein do it for us. And the first correlation that Einstein is discovering is in the form of a predictive audience. And what this means is that Einstein is simply segmenting our audience for us. And I think those marketers in the audience can really appreciate this. Segmentation is one of the most time-consuming and manual things that we have to do as a marketer. And now Einstein's gonna do it for us. And right now, Einstein is grouping our audience into 4 buckets. And the window shoppers are particularly interesting to Katie because they have a high open, so they're engaging with Fanatics content, but they have low clicks. So they're just not converting and making a purchase when they get to the Fanatics site. And Katie knows that this is the perfect group to nurture in a one-to-one journey, and she's gonna do that with Journey Builder, the #1 platform for customer journeys. And with one click, Katie can send that audience to Journey Builder. And this is Journey Builder. This is our journey canvas, where every marketer can bring together that audience, channel, timing, content, all in one place. Katie's gonna start with her audience, that group of window shoppers. Now it's all about targeting each of these window shoppers on their favorite channel. And using Einstein's smart split technology, we're able to look through that group of window shoppers and to determine which channel each of these customers wants to be targeted on. Right now, Einstein's even recommending the distribution: email, mobile, and Facebook. This is incredible for marketers. So now we can drag this onto our journey canvas in one click. So we've optimized for our audience. We've optimized for our channels. Now it's all about timing. Katie wants to make sure that every window shopper is targeted by Fanatics at that exact special moment when they're most likely to make a purchase. So with send time optimization powered by Einstein, we can do just this. We can figure out when that magic moment is for each customer and target them and engage them at that time. So we'll drag our timing onto our journey canvas, and now we're ready to go. We have our journey optimized for our audience, our channels, and our timing. So let's see what this journey looks like when it comes together for one of our window shoppers. What do you know? It happens to be me. As I mentioned, I'm a big sports fan, and I've been a Fanatics customer for a while now. And this is the email I received when I was getting ready for Dreamforce this morning. It's recommending ladies' Steph Curry jerseys for me because I think Einstein is smart enough to know that I love my Dubs. And I know without a doubt that Tim, our amazing demo driver in the back, is also a Fanatics customer and an avid sports fan. So Tim, what did your email look like from Fanatics?
Hey, Allie. I don't know how you could tell, but I feel a bit underdressed. I actually didn't get an email, but I was on my Facebook feed, and I could see this ad from Fanatics, and it's for Pacers apparel. Clearly, the ad worked.
Well, Tim, I guess we won't hold it against you that you're not from here. But this just goes to show the power of Einstein. Einstein knew that I was a Warriors fan. They knew that I wanted to receive my ads via email at 7 a.m. this morning when I check my email every day. And they knew Tim was a Pacers fan and wanted his content served up to him on Facebook during his lunchtime, where I know he's always killing time on Facebook. Tim. Anyways, I don't know about you, Tim, but this email was just enough to push me over the edge and to get me to purchase this jersey. So with just a few clicks, I can tap through from my email, I can go to the Fanatics site, order my Steph Curry jersey, and be ready for the home opener against the Spurs in a couple weeks. So fast forward to that day that I've been waiting for, the day that my jersey arrives in the mail. I also get a push notification from Fanatics, and it's telling me that if I post a selfie in my new jersey to the community, I can enter for a chance to win season tickets. And those of us from here know that the Warriors have been on quite a winning streak over the past couple years. Tickets are pricier than ever, so I am without a doubt entering this contest. With one click, I can tap through to my Fanatics community, and right away, I'm in this immersive, branded, personalized community for sports fans. I can see relevant information, and there's some selfies from other fans. There's Tim. I think he beat me to it. And, oh, there's Mr. Benioff himself. I think I actually saw him at a game last year. His seats were a little bit better than mine. We can also see trending articles and products, everything that's personalized and relevant to me. But I want to post my selfie. Like I said, I want to enter this contest. I want these season tickets. And with just a few clicks, I can select that perfect image, may have applied some filters to it, select that perfect image, post to the community, scroll down, hope to see my selfie at the top of the feed, and cross my fingers that I win these tickets. Now, let's take a second to talk about what's going on under the hood now. What you don't see is what Einstein is doing with each of these selfies. It's not just a fun social promotion. Einstein is actually classifying each of these selfies as they come into the community and using Einstein's predictive vision service, powered by deep learning, to recognize physical attributes of the customers in these selfies. And with amazing accuracy, it is realizing that Tim is a short blonde. And it looks like we're getting a new selfie. Let's wait. Oh, it's me. Let's see what Einstein figures out. So Einstein knows with 98% accuracy that I'm a long-haired brunette. This is incredible, incredible power and technology for marketers to be able to turn images and just noise on the social web into marketing value. And what Einstein's actually doing is serving up the next best product to recommend to me based on some of these physical classifications and physical classifications of customers that are similar to me. And it's recommending this white Warriors headband. And the next time I log into my community, what do you know? I see my feed, but the product recommendations have been updated, and I see that White Warriors headband right there, powered by Einstein's recommendations. Now, this is the power of AI. When you put AI in the hands of your marketers, you're allowing them to create predictive, one-to-one journeys that will turn all of your customers into fans for life. So with that, I want to invite up Chris Orton, the Chief Revenue and Marketing Officer from Fanatics.
Thank you. Engineering and product teams that have been bringing you this great CRM. I'm really excited to announce to you today that we're also starting Salesforce Research. We're starting to really focus on artificial intelligence, and AI is still in a field, or covers a broad range of things that go from, we already know how to solve this, we know how to do lead scoring, but we could do a lot better with the latest and greatest techniques, all the way to things that we can't yet do perfectly. We can't yet ask questions, complex questions that require us to logically reason over a large knowledge base and unstructured text. We can't yet do perfect machine translation to translate from any language to another. We can't yet have perfect dialogue systems about a broad range of topics. Those are still interesting research problems that we work on. Now, with Salesforce Research, you can know for sure that the data scientist that you get with Einstein is always learning, is always improving, knows the latest state-of-the-art techniques, but also actually pushes them forward with research. We're publishing, we're excited to engage with the open community in AI, publish peer-reviewed papers, and then take those insights and actually improve the products that we have. So let me talk to you about two applications of computer vision research. So we already saw this great demo for the marketing platform. Now, the second one is a little harder to demo because it is in the medical domain. Here, we're working together with a company called VRAD. They're the largest teleradiology provider in the world. So what does teleradiology do? Basically, if you come to a hospital late at night and the radiology staff is at home, asleep, the hospitals, and VRAD is installed in over half of all the US hospitals, will send those scans to VRAD. And each scan usually comes with a certain amount of urgency. So if you just have a mild headache, your urgency might not be high. And so VRAD will get back to you in about 20 minutes or so, depending on the urgency. However, maybe you had a stroke, and some strokes might just result in a mild headache. You do get a head CT scan. That head CT scan gets sent to VRAD. Now, with the power of deep learning, we can actually use an algorithm and classify whether that head CT scan shows so-called intracranial hemorrhage, or brain bleeds. And if you have a brain bleed, you actually might die in 5 to 10 minutes if you don't have a hole drilled into your skull and put a catheter in and let fluid out and so on. That's why we're not demoing it here. And so what we have basically allowed them to do is reduce the patient diagnosis time by over 50%. The algorithm only takes a few seconds. It sees something is really urgent, and a real radiologist should look at it very quickly. We bump it up in priority. People, real radiologists see it, can press a red button, and immediately have that be taken care of. So to me, this is a really great example of how we're using AI to make you better. It's not that we're replacing the radiologist, but we're letting them actually take a look at the right patients in the right order so they can really save lives in their jobs. And this is running in their system. It's saving over 20 lives a week since it's been running. It's improved over 20,000 patient outcomes. And it shows also the broad range of applications that we can do, all the way from Fanatics, shirts and jerseys and haircuts, all the way to head CT scans for medical applications. And that's also, as a technologist, what's so exciting about Salesforce. We built this meta platform, and we don't just solve a single problem for a single customer, we solve it in a very generalized way. And so to show you a couple of ways that we enable you to do this, I'll jump into 2 demos. The first one is for our predictive vision service, which you can actually sign up for now. You can go to metamind.io and sign up and train your own image classifier. Here are just a couple of examples. Now, you might have thought, well, they can do this head CT classification this interesting marketing cloud, but I couldn't. Well, you can. It's actually as easy as dragging and dropping a couple of images into your browser. So let me give you an example of a use case here. So let's say, for instance, I want to sell solar panels, and I want to identify houses that have a pitched roof or a flat roof, because pitched roofs actually are much better to put solar panels on. You're much more likely to actually sell to a house with a pitched roof. All you'd have to do is you have a couple of training examples, and this is actually a generally good thing to know and learn about AI. You want to have your data in some format and understand, basically teach the algorithm the kinds of things you want it to understand. So in this case, this algorithm will only ever look at houses, and it will just determine whether it's a pitched or a flat roof. You drag and drop these images into the browser, you click train. Now we deal with all the complexity. Do you have enough training data? We'll warn you. If your classes are maybe don't have the right distribution, we'll send this to GPU infrastructure, graphics cards, really powerful graphics cards that need a lot more cooling and electricity than some data centers have. We deal with all of that complexity, and you just can basically solve your problem. Now, depending on how fast our Wi-Fi is, we'll send those pictures off, and we can just jump here to what it looks like after you train it. You can now take any image that wasn't in your training data set. It's a very important distinction. You don't want to test on your training data set. Squeeze in a little data science mini lecture here. And now, for this new picture, you see the algorithm sees, all right, this is a pitched roof. Now, you can be much more certain that this person is more likely to want to buy a solar panel. And you can incorporate this now very easily in your API. There's a Force.com integration. You can integrate it, for instance, with Google Street View, and now just automatically go through the entire zip code and don't have to drive around manually to identify the best targets. So this is how broad this AI technology is. And anybody can really solve their own problems. So you can imagine this has so many use cases for service. For instance, you have a service rep. He can just take a picture of that old appliance that your company sold 10 years before he actually joined, and he can still just take a picture and then see which documentation is resulting or should be looked at to solve a specific problem that you might have with that appliance. Now, that is the power of computer vision, and the underlying algorithms there are based on deep learning, but we also use deep learning for natural language understanding. So let me jump here into the second demo. This is a really interesting new model. We call it the dynamic memory network. It's a new type of architecture that we've invented in our research. We have a peer-reviewed paper at the International Conference of Machine Learning. And this is actually compared, we compared this model on a whole host of different public benchmark data sets against other kinds of models. Here's an example of what this can do. Basically, any NLP problem, natural language processing problem, that you can cast as a question answering problem over an arbitrary input sequence, you can solve with dynamic memory networks. So here's a question that is, what is the sentiment? Usually sentiment has its own subcommunity, and it's a very different subcommunity to people who want to extract structured information or deal with different languages or do machine translation. So on, this model can do all of these different things, and it can actually do them very accurately. So this sentence here is the best way to hope for any chance of enjoying this film is by lowering your expectations. And most normal algorithms, which actually say, well, this seems quite positive because they only look at words in isolation. They see best and enjoying, and they think, well, that sounds overall mostly positive. There's no really negative word in this, so they would say positive, but this actually understands the sequence, understands how words are put together in their context, and correctly identifies the sentence as negative. Now, I mentioned that the algorithm is just an input sequence, so here you can actually see that even for Chinese, it's a very accurate algorithm. I'm not going to make a fool of myself and try to read that one, but basically, the algorithm is also very accurate for arbitrary languages. So we know we have a lot of different customers all over the world, and this technology, when we roll it out, will really benefit all our different installations. Now, a different kind of problem, usually has a different subcommunity inside the natural language processing research world, is named entity recognition. Imagine you go through your emails, and you want to identify automatically which company is associated or often mentioned in the context of other companies, or who's the CEO of that company, and what are personal networks like. This kind of algorithm enables you to do that, and you can basically just ask what are named entities, and the model will identify each of the different words and has an answer for each separate word. Now, the last example is a great one for showing how general purpose this is. I mentioned that it can be a sequence of words. Well, it can also be a sequence of pixels over which you ask a question. So here, the question is, what are the men wearing on the head? A little ungrammatical, and it correctly says helmets. And once it really learns about a domain, it can even go further, and you can ask, why are the men wearing helmets? And it'll know safety. So these are just a couple of examples that show you the power of deep learning when you solve it once in a principled way. And I'm super excited to see not just us pushing this technology forward, but really incorporating it into our various products. And with that, I'll give it back to John.
Got one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome job. Awesome job, Richard. Amazing. And it's amazing to see the research and